Tomorrow is Derby Day, boys. Wish me luck, because I'm probably going to need it. Bogster hanging under the boat. What do you think? Are we going to do good in the tournament? Can I get a high five? Yeah. What are we doing tomorrow? So Fireballs is a mess because I go OCD crazy with like tournament prep and tournament rigging. One, I've been playing around with this new minnow. This is an Ignite swim baits. It's a 6.25. It's super girthy, right? It's kind of a blend of a Crush City and a Sakamata shad. It's got the wings, super soft plastic, obviously a forward-facing presentation. The other thing is, you guys know me, I love flipping, I love braid. So I got a punching setup for some of that grass, and then I found this cool pattern that I think I showed you guys in a video with a chatterbait mini max, and I don't think I can catch giants on it, but I think I can catch numbers. And you know, if I really need like a 3.5, 3.25 pounder, I think I can close the deal with it. The other thing I'm a little worried about is it's gonna be hot, right? It's late summer, water temps in the upper 80s, supposed to be like 90 something tomorrow, maybe a thunderstorm in the afternoon, but it's gonna be warm, so fish care is gonna be a big player. Obviously frozen bottles I got for dropping in the live well. And then I have this live well Guardian system. It's by Precision Sonar, installed it in the boat. It makes it really easy to just squirt some G-juice directly into the live wells by hitting a button at the console. And I was talking to some buddies down in Florida. They fish, obviously, late summer, hot tournaments, right? And they recommended this, so I got one off the Tackle Warehouse. It's pretty cheap. They're called Buzzer Rocks, and it's like a kit. They're like little antacid looking tablets, and all you have to do is pop them into the live well, and they like oxygenate. There's one for like blood stop formula in case you hook them too deep, but I like simple, right? So I'm willing to try it, so it'll be cool to kind of experiment with that. But the gist is we're gonna try to not crap the bed. That's always the most important thing, and I'm on some good fish. We'll see if it comes through. You know how it is, dude. Everything changes come Derby Day. So wish me luck, and I'll see you tomorrow morning at about 6.
That's all she wrote, boys. I think we got 20, but we'll find out. I got a new bean counters. I don't know.
What an absolute show. Let me tell you, dude. So first things first, we got third place. We had 21.6, which I am stoked about, ecstatic, dude. With 20 minutes left in the Derby, we wouldn't have even gotten a place, bro. We caught a key fish. I'm gonna break down. It really kind of tells you something about tournament fishing and the philosophy you have to have. But the fact is, everything changed. It rained all day. It blew 25 miles an hour. None of these things were predicted in the forecast, and my game plan reflected none of it, dude. We had to throw the entire game plan out the window. And it reminds me of something JT always used to tell me. He's like, I hate those guys that come to the ramp, they're crushing them a week before in practice, catching them every day, busting big bags, and they come to the ramp and they ain't got diddly squat, dude. And they're like, bro, the wind blew too hard, the sun wasn't at the right angle. The fact is they didn't adapt. Literally today was 100% adaptation. And there were a few just key decisions and changes we made throughout the day, and I kind of want to lay them out to you because I think they might help you kind of when you're thinking about like your derbies and when you're thinking about even just approaching a day on the water. We run out, it's railing and ripping, and I'm like, I'm gonna smoke them on this chatterbait mini, dude. Cloudy skies, chop, you know, windy, it's perfect, right? So I had some spots where I was kind of doing this, I showed this to you, that jig drag, you know, with the chatterbait mini. And dude, I could catch 20, 25 fish in like 2 to 3 hours. Like I could smoke them, nothing big, but like 3.5, 3.25. Rolled to this first spot, dude, not catch a fish. I think I had one dink that come off at the boat, but just not catch, it wasn't happening. So I'm like, man, this isn't good. So I run down and I found this mega school, right? I'm like, I'm gonna crush them. I get there, there's like 2 to 3 foot rollers, dude, just busting over the boat. And I'm like, well, maybe I can catch them. The key to the bite though was a forward facing presentation. Basically what I was doing is taking that big Ignite swim baits minnow and I was throwing it out there, and I showed you this retrieve where I was doing that power retrieve where I'd kind of dance it up like a hair jig, and then I could catch them on a Neko rig, maybe a Carolina rig, and just minnow dangle and just treat them like a school of fish. So I get out of Carolina rig, try to drag, I can't do any of this, dude. The wind's rolling so hard, it's blowing me off the spot. I can't make a detailed presentation. And I'm like, dude, two of my best like starting areas are down the drain. So this is like maybe 8 o'clock or so. I'm like, I need to make a change. I've already burnt 2 hours doing things that should have worked if the conditions were different, but the conditions aren't what they were. I need to make a change. So a couple weeks ago, me and Swimsuit Girl caught a couple big ones on this little point, and it was kind of protected from the wind. And I'm like, you know what? Things are kind of setting up a little bit like that. Let me run and look at this real quick. So I roll down there. There's actually another guy on the point, and I don't know who he is, but shout out to him. He was super cool. I roll up and I'm like, hey, dude. He was kind of down a little ways. I'm like, do you mind if I just sneak in here and make a few casts? I won't get in your way. He's like, bro, come on, have at it. I'm like, sweet. So I roll in there, dude, and pick up, this is one of my confidence baits when I'm struggling, and you can forward face fish it, you can drag it like a standard worm, and that's a little Neko Rig. That's a little power bait. It's a max scent kind of worm. I forget the exact one. It's like the 7-inch or the 6.5 inch, but little 1/8 ounce weight on there, and I just kind of dangle it around. I'll drag it, I'll dangle it, I'll shake it over the tops of fish. So I start casting around, I catch a little rat, like a little 12-incher. I'm like, all right, whatever, they're here. So I keep panning around and kind of hunting with my active target 2, and I see a great big blob right next to the grass line on a hard spot. I throw it down there, dude, make like 2 shakes. I'm like, oh, 6-pounder, dude. I think it was like 6.16 or something like that. Bro, I'm like, this is freaking awesome. Like, I needed a clutch fish. This is a clutch fish. The day kind of turned into being all about clutch fish. So I'm like, I got something going on. I spent about another hour and 15 minutes fishing this hard spot. They weren't schooled up, but there was like pods of them, dude. And they were just kind of hanging out. I ended up catching another 3.5-pounder. So we had like 9 and change with that. I'm like, I got to find something new, but maybe I can expand on this. So I run up, and there was a little school that I found a couple weeks ago, but it's been beat to death. Like, a lot of these guys, they're good with their graphs. They like fishing these offshore fish. There was nobody sitting on it. Community hole, I just roll in. And I'm like, dude, my goal is simple. I don't need to catch 20 fish. I need to catch 1. So I start kind of poking around once again with that little Neko Rig. I catch a 3.5, like I think a 3.6 or something like that. I'm like, sweet. Spent another like 20 minutes doing that. Couldn't get any other ones to bite. They're highly pressured, dude. They're smart fish. I'm like, okay, I got more out of this than I thought I would get. I go and I check my chatterbait mini spots again. And basically they're grass fish, right? I'm figuring these conditions at some point they're gonna pop. So I go, I use that jig retrieve, dragging around, bro, nothing. I go to the next one. I catch like, I think I caught like a 2.5-pounder. But the thing is when I got on this bite, like I would literally have fish knock at it. I wouldn't even be able to catch them all, but like you'd feel them just following it, knocking on it. And they were super active. They're super responsive to it. I wasn't getting any of that kind of feedback. So I'm like, this is out the window. Like, this is not working. And one thing that I have learned with tournament fishing is when your back's up against the wall, you got to do something that you have a bunch of confidence in, that you're adaptable with, and that you're good at and you can make changes in, you know, like something that you can kind of commit to and kind of throw down with. And you guys know me, one of those things is flipping for me, punching and flipping. But the thing is the conditions are not like viable, right? It's super cloudy, the wind's blowing, flipping's a very like precise presentation. Extremely hard to do when it's blowing 25 freaking miles an hour. So I'm like, dude, here's the deal. All I have left are flipping fish. I got a couple stretches. I'm gonna see if I can get a few to bite. Like, I need to kind of do an assessment. Can I actually catch flipping fish today? And one of the things that I do when the wind's blowing is I got 10-foot power pole blades. You use them, dude. Basically, you roll up on a spot and you pick it apart, right? So I had a couple hydrilla stretches. I run up, one of them's on the main river. It's really, really blowing. I'm like, let me just give it a shot. I catch like a 2.5-pounder, but get no other bites in about 30 to 45 minutes. I'm like, this ain't flying. So I got one other spot, or actually 2 other spots, rolled to the next, and I actually caught like a 5.5 and shook off 2 great big ones on this other stretch. And so I roll in there, immediately catch a 3.5-pounder. I'm like, thank God, dude. Like pitching, punching, a 1.5 with it. I think I was just using like a little gambler stinger, you know, your classic punching setup. So I go down the rest of the stretch and I'm starting to see a little bit of a pattern. So I'm focused on hydrilla, like super like dense clumps of hydrilla. Ideal for when it's like sunny and beautiful out, right? And they kind of crowd under there, the brim get under there. It's a great canopy to protect them from the sun. And it's just not happening. I think they're in there. They're just not biting. So I go down this stretch, I don't get another bite. I got one stretch left. It's like I don't know, 11 o'clock or so. I'm hoping more, it's more midday. Maybe they'll start biting. I roll to this other stretch. It's practically unfishable, dude. The wind is just chonking, like 2-footers blowing in. Like I end up catching another like 2-pounder, but places where I was getting like 5, 6, 7, 8 bites, I'm getting 1 bite, if that. And immediately in my head, I'm like, dude, you're SOL. Like you need to like dramatically change what you're doing. So I started thinking about it, and it's really hard to think on Derby Day, right? To be adaptable, to change and completely go right when you were going left. But the one thing I started thinking about is I'm fishing all this like super thick hydrilla, right? And it's great when the sun's out, when the wind's calm, like I can really pick it apart and these fish tuck under it. I think with the cloud cover and the wind conditions breaking up like that surface water clarity and the water was starting to get a little bit dirty, I think they're going to be in a little more like open water style flipping stuff. So I'm like, what can I fish that offers like cover and offers like targets, but one, it's kind of protected because I'm limited in what I can actually fish because of the wind, and 2, allows me to have that cover, but I can still power pull down and kind of pick things apart. So I started running around. There's these big like Jurassic Park like pads out on Gunnersville. And a lot of times when the wind blows, like some of this junky stuff kind of blows into it. Eelgrass, junk mats, all kinds of stuff that's floating around. And I'm like, dude, I got confidence in flipping. I just need the opportunity to be able to pick something apart. So I started kind of running some of these pads, dude. There's a bunch of them all spread out over the lake. And so I run to one, I don't get bit. Run to another one, I think I caught like a freaking 2.5, 3-pounder. I'm like, okay, cool. Run to another section, immediately get bit. Catch like a 3.6 or a 3.7 or something like that. And I'm like, dude, like I'm kind of looking good. Like I got like 18, I think, 18 and a half. So I got like an okay limit, but like my range of weight that I'm looking for is like 20 to 25 pounds. I think 20 will put me in like maybe top 5, top 4. If I can hit 23 to 25 pounds, then I'm gonna win. Like that's the game, especially with the way the conditions are. You can't scope. Guys aren't going to be catching 28, 29-pound bags. So I think it was, I don't know, maybe like 1 o'clock, 1:30. Like sometimes you get that feeling, right? Like things are just kind of changing. So I roll into this one section and I hear a lot of brim kissing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Like basically you get around vegetation or around cover and you hear, well, it's the brim, like kissing and getting kind of active, skittering around the surface. The brim started making this sound. They hadn't been doing it all day. And I started getting bit. I catch like 2 or 3, like 2.5-pounders in a row. And even though they're not the fish that I was looking for, like the vibe, like it's changing, right? There's a shift in what's happening. These fish are starting to bite, dude. And I started getting excited and I started getting in that zone a little bit. I only got like 18 and change, but if the flipping bite turns on, Mikey can capitalize. So I keep pitching these pads and looking for these isolated targets. Dude, I'm going around. I catch like a 3.7, dude. Like freaking just pitching. I actually saw this fish blow up and like, I'm like, dude, mental note, where was that fish? I get up there and make that pitch on the why not. So I changed my setup a little bit. I actually went from a 1.5 down to a 1.25 with a why not. This is actually the bait I got second on Lake Okeechobee in one of the BFLs that I fished, but a little bit lighter setup for this more like open water kind of deal. So I catch that fish immediately. I think I'm at like 19.5 pounds. I'm still not in that like that viable kind of range, but dude, like that's a big kicker fish. Now I got to upgrade. I think I got to get something over like a 3.5 or something like that. I catch another like 2.5, 3-pounder. Like, dude, they're biting. Like every time I get this right section of pads with like a little bit of junk blown in and make that pitch, I get bit. Like I'm catching fish. It's a complete change from the rest of the day, dude, when I wasn't getting bit. So I'm like, dude, it could happen. So I'm going around this stretch, dude. It's like 2:25, right? The tournament weighs in at 3 o'clock. Wind is ripping. Basically, I'm going down a stretch, dropping the poles, fishing, going another 10 foot up, dropping the poles, picking everything apart. I'm literally picking up the poles. I'd pitch the bait in. I go to lift it out. Dude, there's a fish on. I hit him. It was an awkward hook set. I hit this fish. It's a freaking 4.6, 4.7. Bro, I just boat flip it. I am ecstatic. That fish put me at 21.6 and gave me my weight for the day, dude. I had a couple more minutes to kind of poke around, but literally a clutch fish with like 40 minutes to go, dude. But the moral of the story, and this is something like, I hate this about it, but the fact is when it comes to tournament fishing, if you're not adaptable, you're losing, dude. And I was actually adaptable. I didn't stick to my plan. I didn't stick to running like a template of like the bites that I got and trying to basically redo exactly what I had done during practice. I really kind of opened the can, found something I was confident in, and really just ran with it, dude. Like, win, lose, or fail, I know I can catch fish flipping. I'm a little bit better at that than most, dude. And I'm gonna know exactly what to do and how to pick things apart, because right now, practically everything that I got from a casting standpoint is unfishable, dude. We ended up getting third, dude. 23 and change won. A buddy of mine won, dude. Congratulations to him. 23 and change won. And then another buddy I know got 22 with second place. So we were right there up in the mix. I missed a key fish. I don't know if that would have like put me over that 23-pound mark, but it was a giant, dude. But it's just one of those things. When you do this flipping deal, you have to assume you're gonna lose fish. I had her up in the pad. She got wrapped in one of those like dryer pad stems and it come off, dude. And I probably made some mistakes because the wind's blowing and I couldn't like angle to get her out or go get her. I had to drag her out and she come off. But it did tell me I made the right decision, dude. When everything was against me, when it came to these casting fish and trying to redo or relive some of the bites that I had found, I made some changes, adapted, and dude, it paid off. And I wasn't that guy that came back to the ramp and I'm like, oh, the wind blew too hard. Because it actually did, dude. But that's my tournament recap. I hope you guys enjoyed this, dude. If you guys got any tips on kind of being adaptable or having the right mental mindset for tournament fishing, especially when conditions aren't setting up like you were planning for or prepared for, drop them down in the comments box. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for your support. And hopefully we'll fish a couple more derbies by the end of the year. Later, my homies.